I'm Daryl Rantis, and I'm here in my office in Asheville. I want to talk a bit about how one chooses to become an architect and the influences that one has in forming an architect's body of work or philosophical background. You know, any architect is going to usually be influenced by several architects that are either current or in history. Very early I got interested in high school. Drafting teacher that introduced me to Frank Lloyd Wright. Drafting teacher was very influential in my development. When other people encouraged me or discouraged me about staying in the profession in high school, he encouraged me to stay with it. But he also exposed me a lot to Frank Lloyd Wright in his early works. And Frank Lloyd Wright was an organic architect that has really been influential in the work that I do. When I got to college, or got the opportunity to go to Kansas State University to study architecture, that was really heaven sent for me. I was really lucky to have a number of professors that exposed me to a lot of environmentally conscious designs. This is now early 80s, so environmentally conscious design had a heyday in the early days. It was mostly known as the solar movement. But now these professors of mine had really were starting to refine it quite a bit. But a lot of my other colleagues or fellow students not so much interested in that anymore. Early 80s were starting to rock and roll, and they didn't see energy as being a very big issue for the future of their profession. Of course, when I got to college and I was really into Frank Lloyd Wright quite a bit, the professors asked me, said, Wright, he's good work, but he's been dead quite a bit. You need to be looking at some other architects, like Louis Kahn and Corbu and some more current guys. And I was, saying, well, I like that Frank Lloyd Wright would. And so soon after that, Thorncrown Chapel in Eureka Springs got published. And I found the work of Fay Jones, and I brought this to my professor, and I said, what about this guy? He seems to be making a go at it and learning from Frank Lloyd Wright, and all they could do was just hit themselves in the forehead and said, what are we going to do with you? That was sort of my first introduction to Fay Jones, seeing this Thorncrown Chapel being published, and really quite a powerful building. AIA has recognized it as such since. Soon after that, Fay Jones comes to Kansas State for a lecture, and I see his work. It's a 4-hour lecture of work that just each slide, each building is amazing, one after another, and I thought, someday I'm going to work for that guy. Little I know, 4 or 5 years later, I would find myself in that office working for Fay Jones or in an interview begging him for the 4th time after sending him resumes 9 months in a row, 9 months at a time in a row, to work for him. He finally granted me a seat in his studio. Before I could get a chance to work for Fay Jones, I was fortunate enough to get a summer job through my father in Chicago to work for a firm which was once at one point named C.F. Murphy, which we had studied in architecture school or architecture history. And C.F. Murphy was doing some very clean Miesian work. Some said they did better Mies than Mies. Very old Chicago firm. That's all I knew about C.F. Murphy when I showed up for this interview. Well, at the time, this young designer had taken hold in Chicago who was working for Murphy named Helmut Jahn. And I was able to do 3 summers of internship with Helmut Jahn. Now, this guy had really taken the Miesian box and broke it up. The State of Illinois building was sort of going full go during those 3 summers that I worked for Helmut Jahn. And he really taught me that, the imagination is really limitless. I think that Helmut has really shaken up the architectural world quite a bit.